Miami Beach police chief was on TV a couple of weeks ago when the city manager imposed a curfew, saying that the police would not enforce the curfew because the Supreme Court ruled after Katrina in the Louisiana case that curfews are unconstitutional, period, and cannot be imposed under any conditions. He said he's not going to violate the Constitution. Now I'm looking through the mugshots of people who were arrested Saturday night, and I found 2 arrests from Miami Beach for curfew violations. And I'll show you the pictures here. Yeah, did they change their policy without telling anybody? Or were these officers who made the arrests violating the department policy? Now, this video started out to address the curfew violations. Except that while I was trying to edit this video, I was sitting on the sidewalk outside BurgerFi using their Wi-Fi when a Miami Beach police officer, a sergeant, pulls up in a plain car and double parks in the moving traffic lane, gets out and comes over and demands my ID, telling me I can't be sitting on the sidewalk in front of a business. Now BurgerFi is closed because we're still on lockdown. They're not even doing takeout, which is permitted under the lockdown order. They are closed completely. The doors are locked. There's nobody inside. And he's telling me he got a complaint from BurgerFi. But the complaint from BurgerFi was not supposedly that I was using their Wi-Fi. It was that I was sitting on the public sidewalk outside their business. He said I was obstructing the sidewalk. I was sitting there with my legs crossed and the sidewalk's 11 feet wide, and my back up against the wall of the BurgerFi, or against the window actually. And that left at least 8 feet for people to pass. A letter carrier went by me on a tricycle delivering the mail and didn't even have to say excuse me, and she just whizzed by immediately before the cop got out of the car and came by and harassed me. The cop was already there and he saw it. When I asked him what law I was breaking, he called for backup. He's demanding my ID. He got 5 other cops. They got my hands up against the wall and searched me. At least they didn't handcuff me. At least they gave me my ID back after they ran it. When he called for backup, he wouldn't pat me down while my hands were up against the wall until 5 other officers arrived, and 2 of them had guns drawn. He had asked me whether I had any weapons, and I told him I didn't. At no time did I do or say anything that would have led him to believe that I had one. It's completely uncalled for and unconscionable. Oh.
Can't sit lower in front of the restaurants, alright?
Restaurant's not open.
Yep, but it's still called. Yeah, still called.
It's a public sidewalk, isn't it?
Huh?
It's a public sidewalk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a public sidewalk, but you can't stop and block the sidewalk. You can't sit down and block the sidewalk.
I'm not blocking anybody.
Pedestrians walking around.
Postal employee just went by on the bicycle, right?
I asked you nicely, right? Did I ask you nicely? I didn't come up here and give you a hard time, did I? Okay? The manager has already sent a message in to us. They already called us. Don't worry, I'm recording too. I have my body worn camera on as well. Okay? Don't worry, I'm recording too. I have my body worn camera on as well. Okay? Don't worry, I'm recording too. I have my body worn camera on as well. Okay? I ask you nicely. You're sitting down on the sidewalk, your legs are stretched out. Okay? I ask you nicely to stand up, get away from the business, from blocking the sidewalk. That's what I asked you. I didn't give you a hard time. Did you hear me curse at you? Did you hear me use any profanity? Did you hear me get aggressive with you?
No.
I ask you, can you get up? And can you, okay, your legs extended out, you're blocking the sidewalk, you're in front of the business. Can you get up, come out of the business, come off of the sidewalk? That's what I ask you.
Well, can meaning am I capable of? Yes.
Okay.
But will I do it is another question. And you know, are you going to arrest me if I don't?
I tell you what, let me see some ID. Let me see some ID.
Do you have?
Let me see some identification. Yeah, I have the authority to say, let me see some identification.
You have some reason to believe that I'm committing a crime.
Let me see some identification.
What reason do you have to believe that I'm committing a crime?
Like I said, let me see some identification.
Uniform 977 from 1131. Response to a 3049 I think 010.
And for my safety and yours, put that down and put your hands on top of the wall. I gotta make sure you don't have any weapons. Put your hands on top of the wall.
I have no weapons.
Oh, well, I gotta
have
make
no
sure.
ill
I
will.
wanna go home. Put your hands on top of the wall. Okay? Thank you. Keep it just like that. Until I'm able to pat you down.
He told me to put the phone down before I put my hands up against the wall. He immediately reached down and pushed the button on the screen to stop it from recording. Before he kept me up against the wall for 5 minutes waiting for the backup. He didn't identify himself. I tried to ask him to. He wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. He kept talking, hurling one false, unfounded accusation after another. I should have demanded his name and badge number before I answered his question of, can you get up off the sidewalk? I tried a couple of times, but he just raised his volume and shouted me down. Then he gave me a trespass warning for the public sidewalk after they searched me and found I didn't have anything. So I am now not allowed to return to the 1200 block of the sidewalk of Washington Avenue on the west side. I don't know if the east side's okay. I hope it is. If he or any of the 5 supposedly see me anywhere on the sidewalk there in that block, I will be arrested for trespassing. I was given a formal trespass warning. I asked him what law I violated in order to generate the trespass warning, and he told me, you don't have to be violating the law. Which is exactly what I got from Major Delatory when he banned me from a section of Loomis Park in October, because he had a complaint from a guy who had a condo across the street who didn't want to look out his window and see a homeless person sitting in the park. He accused me of committing a crime in order to generate the trespass warning. He falsely accused me of being in the park after hours, which is a violation of the city ordinance, even though the ordinance itself is unconstitutional, because the Supreme Court says a public park can't close at any time of the day or night unless there's a physical barrier to entry. And there is no physical barrier, was no physical barrier around this park. There's been crime tape put up around the perimeter of the park since the lockdown. But at the time, nobody had heard of COVID yet, and there was no physical barrier to entry to the park. And I got there shortly after the park supposedly opened in the morning. And he watched me walk into the park, and then I was illegally searched. and given the trespass warning for a 1 block section of an 8 block long park. And this guy's an assistant chief, a major. Now, the day before all that stuff went down at BurgerFi, I was walking down the street and I saw a lady cop pull up on this guy and demand that he show her ID. And he said, "Why'd you stop me?" And she demanded the ID again. And he said, "Why'd you stop me?" a second time. And she drew her weapon on him. Told him put his hands on the wall. He put his hands on the wall. She cuffed him, put him in the car. And when I was looking through the mugshots and found the 2 of the guys who had been arrested for the curfew violations, there was his mugshot. And his only charge is resisting an officer without violence, because he asked why he was stopped when she ordered to see the ID. This department's out of control. So here we are 4 hours later in front of BurgerFi, and exactly where they chased me from. This guy's been sleeping for the past hour or so. As you can see, the place is closed up, it's dark, there's nobody in there. You know, I can't help think that what happened to me at BurgerFi was retaliation for the No Good Deed Goes Unpunished video that I posted last week. The link to that one's in the description to this one. And since this video started out being about the curfew, let's finish it up 2 days after the BurgerFi incident. While I was preparing this video, I was looking through the mugshots and I found 2 more people arrested for curfew violations and nothing else, and taken into custody, and they're sitting in COVID incubator cages in the jail in Dade County right now.